What's up guys, welcome back to In The Shop TV. Today is a super special day for me. I've been wanting a plasma cutter for the longest time. Up until now, I've been fabricating everything with hand tools. It's been a pain, which has taught me some basic craftsmanship and I'm kind of proud of that. However, these things, I've been using them like crazy. They're super unhealthy. If you're not wearing a respirator, they make a ton of silica dust that you don't want to be breathing in. So today I say goodbye to these things forever. Let's find out. So guys, I've actually never used a plasma cutter before. This is my first time. The machine that we have right here behind me is a Primeweld Cut 60. I really like the idea of this plasma cutter because it has CNC table capabilities, which is something that I really am strongly looking at getting involved in the near future. A couple of videos ago, I had to make those custom brackets for my 4-link, stuff like that. I could program into software for a CNC table and just have it cut those right out. You can make custom parts, you can sell things. The sky's the limit when it comes to that. So it's something I'm really been interested in. I don't know, with no experience with these machines, if I should be taking this opportunity to be cutting custom parts for this 55 Chevy truck, or maybe I should practice on a bunch of scrap and then cut some parts for the 55 Chevy truck. It's impeccable timing because there is something that I need in order to mount our coilovers on this truck, which is kind of like boxing plates for the outside of our step notches. Let me take you over there and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if you guys have been tuning in, you saw me make these step notches and bridges and everything, weld all the stuff in. But these seams in our 2x4 metal tubing are gonna be the weak point. Not to say that they're weak or I didn't weld it good. I think I got them, pretty good. But I wanna take a coilover. Where it's positioned, it's gonna pretty much mount right here to that part of the step notch. So with that in mind, I have to grind some of this down anyway. And just being the worrywart that I am, I really wanted to install fish plates. Fish plates are kind of diamond-shaped plates that you would put over your weld seams that just kind of really stiffen up the area and give it a lot more integrity. And we came up with the idea of maybe putting in a fish plate the entire size of the step notch and then tying it back into the frame down here to really make sure that this is going to be super solid. Of course, that's going to need to be done before we mount our coilover up. So I think we'll make a template of this and we'll get to cutting it out. But first, let's crack open this box and take a look inside. We got our manual and our paperwork. Box number 2. All right, so this is going to be, I was just sending you this little face shield here. A lot of people toss these and they think that they're stupid, but I actually call them companion shield. If you ever have anyone in the shop that maybe want to protect their face if you don't have a second hood for them. So I always tend to hold on to these things. I think they're good just to have around. Next is our ground clamp with standard DINS connector on it. Here is a pigtail. This machine is capable of 120 and 220 volts. So you got your 120 end over here and then your adapter on the other end. This is really cool. This is an entire consumable kit. You got your nozzles and cups and standoffs and all types of good stuff in here, and seems to be quite a bit of it. So I am super appreciative that they sent this out to us. And this little gem right here, this is the pin connector. Should you decide to run this machine on a CNC table, you will need this connector to wire up. So I guess that means I went backwards, and this is box number 1, which I'm assuming is going to be our torch, which it is. Looks like we've got extra nozzle and a little tool there. Here's the torch itself. It's got a little trigger guard here. Seems to be well made and pretty ergonomic. Looks like on the end of the torch here they give you a little protective cover, which is kind of nice should you ever want to move this around or take it to another place. Getting to the star of the show, this thing is like completely encapsulated in foam block. I gotta say that's one of the better packing jobs I've ever seen. Let's get it turned around so we can look at the front panel here. All right, so first impression, it seems like really well made overall. Fit and finish is really nice on it. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, this is something I really like. When I was researching plasma cutters and what I wanted, a lot of them have your air control on the back, or they don't have a regulator installed. This is really cool. It's built integrally into the front of the unit, which is what you're going to be looking at almost all the time when you go to make adjustments. So to have your regulator right here is just a great feature in my opinion. Moving over to the controls, it's really simple and straightforward. You've got your amperage control here, which is basically how you control your current or your power going through your cut. And this is what's called post flow. This is the amount of air that flows through the torch after you let go of the trigger. Why you have that setting is because when your tips get kind of hot and your post flow can cool those tips off. On this little toggle right here, you got a button for 2T and 4T. 2T is basically your normal trigger operation. Pull the trigger, you go in your torch mode, you let off the trigger, it stops. 4 keys if you kind of want to have that automatic. And this set air feature, if you click it up that way, is really kind of neat, because without using the torch, you can come over here, the air will flow through everything, and you can adjust your settings to get to the proper PSI that you need. Moving down to the bottom, you got, just like a welding machine, your DINS connector for your ground or earth, whatever you want to call it, and your torch connector here. Let's get this turned around and look at the back panel. So a couple of things I like right off the bat is this power cable is nice and beefy. Our power switch is actually a breaker. Got our cooling fan here, obviously. This is going to be our air inlet. And moving up here, again, this is what I was really excited about. This little port that says CNC, where we can hook up that multi-pin connector and run a CNC plasma table off of this. And while it might sound crazy, the best feature on the back panel is this right here. What I mean is, when I initially spoke to Primeweld about wanting a plasma machine for the shop, the customer service that I received actually blew me away. I've never received customer service from any company ever that good. They were just so easy to work with, so polite, so responsive, so quick. If you guys tuned in for a couple other videos, you know that my expensive Miller welding machine broke down, and it was a little bit of a pain, and I was kind of without it for a little while. So having the ability to have a company that is so accessible, so helpful, so kind and polite and easy to deal with is a huge, huge factor in my decision making when it comes time to put a machine in my shop. Let's plug this thing in and start messing with it. Let's unplug our welding machine first. Plug our Primeweld in. Put our torch in, and both of these connections are keyed. They only go in one way. All right, so we're gonna put our set air on first. Manual says to adjust this to 60, which is almost there. Lock it in. We're gonna practice on a piece of 3/16, and for that, they ask for 45 amps. I'm going to go ahead and set the post flow not too long, 10 seconds after. So this is the material we're working with, some 3/16. Let's do a little test here and make sure we have juice. Which we do, very nice. And there it goes at 10 seconds. Cool, I think we're ready. All right, so the first few cuts, they're getting cut out relatively clean, I would say. So far this thing cuts like butter and the cut is nice and clean. I really can't complain thus far. All right, so I just did a little bit of a test. I cut out a tiny little shape in the shape of our step notches just to practice. And I think I got it down pat. That cut is pretty clean. Got a little bit of boogers with dross hanging right there along the edge. And a tiny bit right there in the corner. And then this is our cut piece. A little bit there and a little bit there. I think that is completely acceptable with me. That'll knock right off with a wire wheel or a flap disc, but I'm going to call that good, guys. So I'm just going to test this real quick on some thicker stuff and maybe some rusty metals. I'm pretty reasonably impressed with this machine so far, I got to tell you. All right, so I got a piece of 1/4 inch here. This is the thickest stuff I have in the shop. So here's the work piece that we cut from. I didn't use a straight edge, just kind of freehanded that. And there is our cut edge. A little bit of dross on that. Not bad at all. Not bad, guys. All right, so I actually found a really rusty piece of old 3/8 laying around. We're gonna bump that up to 50 amps. I don't have the manual back here, so I'm kind of guessing with that. But let's see what happens. Piece of dross came right off when I put it down. Look at that. Impressive. Guys, I'm digging it. All right, so I think that's more than enough practice, and undoubtedly the machine is completely capable of making really nice, smooth, clean cuts. So I think we're going to start tracing out our pattern here for our step notches and actually cut out some parts with this thing. Guys, that was significantly quicker than using a grinding wheel and way healthier in my opinion, just not throwing dust all over the place. Those grinding wheels, they're great. I'm not saying a plasma cutter will completely replace a grinder or cutting wheels. It won't. They still have their place in this. I'll tell you what, the only bad thing about that machine is now I have I-1-itis and I really want to get a plasma table really bad. I guess all good things come to those who wait, but man, that's going to really change the game up for us a lot, and it's going to be a really huge addition for the shop. Guys, I think there's about 13 subscribers left before we hit 1,000. And there's still room for you to win that free digital level giveaway. All you have to do is subscribe and comment subscribe in the comments, like, and you're automatically entered. Right now, I think only roughly 20 people have commented subscribe in the last 2 videos for this giveaway. So as of right now, you've got about a 1 in 20 chance. Well, actually, if we need 13 more, a 1 in 33% chance of winning that free tool. So what do you have to lose? I know if you had a 1 in 33% chance of winning in Vegas, you guys would all be on a plane right now. So do it up. That's the Primeweld Cut 60. I'm going to get the other one cut out right now. And on the next video, we'll get them all welded up and get the coilovers going. And hopefully we'll be just about done with this 4-link suspension. Guys, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you on the next video.